Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I am the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Just me going solo today. Let me see here, getting social media hooked up. And it takes me just a minute to do that. Oh, come on. There we go. And let me see if we can get Facebook hooked up here. All right. So, just me solo today. We're going to be talking about a couple stories that have hit the news over the past few days. There's more stories to cover, but I'll get to those tomorrow. Really, these two are going to take quite a bit of time. So, we're already getting check-ins from YouTube. I know we're going out. I know we're live there. Haven't got any comments from Facebook yet, but I'm sure they will come. Want to remind you, if you are watching us on the Polite Society podcast channels, go ahead and comment on those streams. I get those comments right away, and we'll get them on the air if you're talking about what I'm talking about or have recently. And if you're watching us anywhere else, do try to comment there. Sometimes I get them right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. If you want your comment to get on the air and you want me to discuss it, the best place to go is to the Polite Society podcast, Facebook, or YouTube channels, because those get to me right away. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first story, this one is a story from... I'm going to synopsize this a little bit, and then I'm going to let the voiceover go. This is a story I got off of AmmoLand, although if you are following Tom Gresham on X, what used to be Twitter, you're aware of this story, and I'll be talking about it quite a bit after we get to the end of this one. So hang on, everybody. Here goes the voiceover, and I'll comment after.
On Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, Gabriel Cowan Metcalf was arrested at his home. Federal agents of the ATF arrested Metcalf for possessing a firearm in a federal gun-free school zone in Billings, Montana. Gabriel Metcalf had a Rossi single-shot break-action 20-gauge shotgun in a scabbard on his lawn mower. A search warrant was executed during the arrest. The warrant shows the agents also seized 6 rounds of ammunition and a Samsung phone. Billings police had several contacts with Metcalf prior to the arrest by federal agents. It has been reported Billings police stated he was not breaking any state law. From BillingsGazette.com, we have made contact with him on multiple occasions, and currently he is refusing to stop displaying his firearms while on his property, said Police Lieutenant Matt Lennick. At this time, he has not done anything illegal, and we do not have the authority to arrest him, take his firearms, or force him to stop coming out into his yard. Metcalf has stated he does not have mental problems, does not use drugs, and believes he was protecting himself and his loved ones. He has stated he is not a danger to other people or the children at the school. The Billings police did not attempt to have him evaluated for any mental condition. This correspondent has not had contact with Metcalf or his court-assigned attorney. The prosecution asked for a pretrial detention order. Pretrial detention is an unusual condition. No bail is set. The defendant is locked up until his trial is over. In the case of a constitutional challenge, this could take years. Magistrate Judge Timothy J. Cavan granted the order of detention for Gabriel Metcalf. The only reason checked on the order of detention pending trial form is a box 4 history of violence or use of weapons. This is the first order of detention this correspondent has seen that cites this reason for pretrial detention. The defendant believes he has a right to keep and bear arms, and the Federal Gun-Free School Zone Act is unconstitutional. From the order of detention, pending trial. Explanation for order of detention pending trial. The defendant lives on a busy street in Billings, Montana, across the street from an elementary school. He has been charged with possession of a firearm within a school zone. According to testimony at the detention hearing, the defendant believes possession of the firearm and patrolling the area around his property within the school zone is necessary to protect he and his mother from a perceived threat posed by a former neighbor. Testimony established that he has possessed the firearm on public property within the school zone and has chased automobiles he believes may be associated with his former neighbor. He has previously...
All right, I'm gonna pause it there. We may come back to it. It may take a bunch of time, and I may go to the next story. But this is a story off of Ammo Land by Dean Weingarten. And again, as I said, if you're following Tom Gresham on Twitter or X or whatever you prefer to call it at the moment, you've been exposed to you've noticed this story. What happened is Billings police have been to this guy's house a number of times. The guy has not broken any state or city of Billings laws. They could not arrest him. They could not detain him. They could not take his Rossi shotgun. Apparently, this guy has a beef with a former neighbor, and the former neighbor may or may not be coming around and messing with the guy. But since Billings police couldn't do anything about it, they got the brilliant idea of this guy lives across the street from a school and he's got a gun. Let's call the ATF and get them involved, because our beloved President Biden in the 1990s helped push through the Senate the Federal Gun-Free School Zones Act, and it is, at least theoretically, against federal law to, within 100 yards of a school, have a firearm. Well, this guy living right across the street from the school does live within 100 yards. So ATF, those wonderful defenders of liberty that they are, show up. It's not in this story, but my understanding is the ATF talked the guy into stepping onto the sidewalk in front of his property, which, according to the ATF, is not, the sidewalk is not his property. They then arrest him. They seize his phone, his shotgun, and 6 whole rounds of 20 gauge ammunition from that shotgun. The Billings Police Department never interview the guy, the other person in this dispute. They never interview him face to face, citing safety reasons. They only do a telephone interview. Well, if it's not safe for the police to meet face to face with the guy that is supposedly causing the problem, with this guy who has a 12 gauge shotgun in a scabbard on a lawnmower, if it's not safe for the police to meet with him, I very seriously think that this guy may have an actual issue and with a former neighbor. And I think maybe what happened here, just drawing lines where you're drawing in between the lines, he maybe have a Karen for a neighbor and scared her a little bit, and she doesn't like him, so she's going to get him arrested. I think that may be what is going on here. But the big issue is no bail. He's on a pre-trial hold. And if this guy is intending on challenging the Federal Gun-Free School Zones Act under constitutional grounds, A, I think he's going to win. B, it's going to take a long time. And we're talking decades. We're talking, at the very least, years, maybe decades to get this all the way through. And he's going to be sitting in jail this entire time because there is no bail for him. Yeah, this one just, this to me smells. Something is not right here. Let me see here. I'll get to CNT Designs and Arms and George Geller. I'll get to your comments here in just a little bit. I want to, because you guys do have a fun topic conversation here I'm going to get to. But, yeah, this is, this whole thing, and I agree with Dean Weingarten when he writes, the U.S. Attorney may try to punish Metcalf with the process, meaning he's going to keep this guy locked. The judge that's overseeing this is going to keep the guy locked up until the entire trial is over. And it really doesn't seem like there's a lot of forethought going into this, other than this guy's just dangerous. He owns a shotgun and he's in his front yard with his shotgun. We're just going to keep him locked up for the public's safety. Again, later in the story, the ATF has seized Gabriel's single-shot shotgun and his 6 cartridges. It appears he does not have the means to purchase another firearm. Produce is another story. He does not have the means to purchase another firearm. As he is under indictment, he is precluded from legally purchasing another firearm. Yet, the judge writes, it is unlikely Metcalf would abide by a requirement to not possess firearms during his release. I agree with you, CNT, on this one. CNT says, have no doubt the process will be the punishment. I'm gonna keep my eyes open for more about this one. This one's gonna hurt. It's gonna take a long time for this guy to get things right. He has a public defender. He does not have a private attorney. It's a public defender. We'll see how this thing goes. Let me go ahead, and I'm gonna start. This next one is good news, although the story isn't written that way. This is good news. I'm going to go ahead and get this next story out of the way quickly.
The Omaha City Council voted Tuesday to repeal city code related to gun permits. The action comes after the Nebraska legislature changed the concealed carry law. Pete Festerson, the council president, feels repealing 22 city codes is hardly cause for celebration. Joey Safchik, is it fair to say you feel like you have to vote against the best interests of the people? Festerson, definitely. It's my opinion that the city should not be getting repealed or having to do this, unfortunately. And that's why we opposed LB 77. LB 77, the law going into effect within the week, allows concealed carry without a permit. We're discouraged we have to be doing this today, but we must repeal the section of code pertaining to firearms based on state legislation that passed, Festerson said. Among the 22 code repeals, getting rid of Omaha's gun registration ordinance, which allows police to track stolen guns. I'm sure what will be going through the officer's mind is also, I'm letting this person go who has a gun there. I certainly hope that they're not going to go and commit some sort of violent crime with it, Matt Coos, Omaha City Attorney, said.
Okay, pausing right there. I probably will get to the rest of this one. But there's not a lot left of it. There is some, but not a lot. This LB 77 is the permitless carry statute that takes effect next week in Nebraska. As part of that, Omaha is not allowed to keep a registry, so they had to pass a city ordinance saying the registry goes away. I got news for you. If a criminal has a firearm, chances are, the huge majority of the chances are, that that criminal did not go to a gun store and buy it. If they did not go to the police department or wherever you have to go in Omaha to register the thing. They didn't go register it. So the number of crimes that are going to be solved by a gun registry in Omaha until the end of the universe from old age, something like 100 trillion years from now, is going to be zero. The sun will engulf the earth and the earth will be turned into a smoking pile of ash before one single crime is solved by the Omaha Gun Registry. Let's see here. I go back to early in the story. Pete Festerson, the council president, feels repealing 22 city codes is hardly cause for celebration. You know what, Festerson? It is a cause for celebration because liberty is winning. Yeah, Warsaw Patriot, you're absolutely right. Criminals who have stolen guns or crime guns have scratched off serial numbers. No civilian scratches off a serial number of any firearm. You're right, Warsaw Patriot. You're absolutely right. And once those serial numbers are scratched off, then it becomes a ghost gun. So I am going to go ahead and get to the rest of the story here. Let's, speaking of ghost guns, hang on.
The Omaha Police Department and Mayor Gene Stothert opposed the law as it made its way through the legislature. But the bill passed. Whether we agree with getting rid of these or not, it's not our choice. It was already done by the state legislature, said Amy Melton, an Omaha City Council member. The City Council is already targeting countermeasures. Festerson said the city's law department indicates local government can regulate ghost guns, public spaces, and perhaps even bump stocks and accessories. So those are things we're looking into. Common sense measures, Festerson said. The law goes into effect in just a few days, though Festerson said working on those new regulations will be ongoing for several weeks.
Let me. You guys are just as much a part of this show as I am, so I'm gonna keep comments coming. So wait, Omaha State Registry got struck down? Yes, the City Registry of Omaha is going to be no more. And that was because of the way the LB 77 was written. That's my understanding. I'm not an attorney. I do not play one on TV or the internet. But yes, the Omaha's City Registry is now gone. And let me get back again. If that's the case, that will affect Illinois State's new proposed assault weapons ban and illegal registry that violates the Fifth Amendment grounds and other issues. I don't, because this is a Nebraska state law that Nebraska's preemption forced Omaha to go with. So I don't think this particular case is going to affect Illinois, although it should. I don't see this one affecting Illinois. But anyway, I want to get to the end of the story here. Festerson said the city's law department indicates local government can regulate ghost guns, like we were talking about, public spaces, and perhaps even bump stocks and accessories. So this is what I expect from Omaha. Accessories. You can no longer have anything that attaches to your gun. They're all going to be shoulder things that go up. It's all going to be, you cannot have a flash hider. You cannot have a pistol grip. You cannot have this, that, or the other thing. I would even suspect you cannot have anything other than iron sights. I could see that happening out of the city of Omaha. And public spaces, they're going to create a sensitive area that encompasses every square inch of Omaha that is not, that with the possible exception of the interior of privately owned buildings. And then you have to have a special written permission from the owner of that building to carry inside that building. Therefore, if you're a renter, you're out of luck. Let's see here. Let's get, yes, Warsaw Patriot. Yes. Every day just brings a victory, though, Paul. I think it's going to keep getting better, and I like it. I'm with you there, man. And we are getting victories almost every single day. I love reporting on them, too, because every time it happens, it causes the other side to just go apoplectic with there's going to be blood in the streets. And yet there's never, ever, ever blood in the streets. And Warsaw Patriot follows it up with freedom tastes great. It does. It absolutely does. I think, guys, I'm going to go ahead and keep this one short. We've got other stories I could get into, but I'm going to save most of them for tomorrow. A couple of Cam Edwards stories off Bearing Arms that are going to be coming up, as well as let me mention this in passing, but we'll get into it more tomorrow. Since Monday night, when I went off the air on Polite Society podcast, officially the special legislative session in Tennessee is over, and nothing came out of it. Absolutely goose eggs. There's more victory for you, Warsaw Patriot, and that one tastes good too. The governor had an oh my gosh moment, we've got to do something, and the state legislature says, yeah, no, we're good. We're good. They could have passed things that increased mental health funding. They could have done things that hardened schools some more. But they said, you know what? We're in good shape. We're not going to create a red flag law. We're not going to do this, that, or the other. You don't hear of an assault weapon ban coming out of Tennessee. The Republican majority in both the House and the Senate basically said, yeah, we're done with this. The special session lasted all of a week. So, everybody, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. This is a little bit of a shorter one. Do come join me tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll have more news of the day, including those Cam Edwards stories and some interesting news out of Colorado and other things. I'm sure there's going to be more popping up. Until next time, everybody, thanks for watching, and we will see you